Okay, Brian King. In, yes, I'm in. So while it's booting, we are basically talking about vulnerabilities. And we said that vulnerabilities are weaknesses in a system. Okay? And when these weaknesses are not being taken care of, a threat actor will take advantage of them. And today we are going to be acting as not as a threat actor actually, but we're going to be acting as a penetration tester. We are going to make use of or find vulnerabilities in an application, then see how far we can go inside that application to take informations from there, to know how bad the vulnerability is with them. So first of all, what are vulnerabilities? Vulnerabilities are flaws in a computer system that weaken the overall security of the device stroke system. Vulnerabilities can be weaknesses in either the hardware, you see, or what? Are you there?
Yeah.
Please, I need you to follow. If you don't follow, you will not. You will have so many unanswered questions when you're doing them on your own. So vulnerabilities are flaws in a system that weaken the overall security of the device or system. Now, more importantly, vulnerabilities can be weaknesses in either the hardware itself or what?
Software.
Yes, that runs on the hardware. So, vulnerabilities can be exploited by a threat actor, such as an attacker, to cross privilege boundaries, etc., like performing unauthorized actions within a computer system. When these vulnerabilities are not taken care of, especially remember our last class, we talked about all the ports that can be opened in a network device. If all the 56,000 and something 536,000 ports are left open, they increase the attack surface of whatever system it is. So which lets us to know that we should always scan. Once we scan and we'll find out the ports that are open, that are not needed, we can make steps to close them and keep them away from prayer eyes. So how are we going to do today's task? We are going to exploit a vulnerability. That is, an attacker must have at least one applicable tool or technique that can connect to a system's weakness. Before someone or a threat actor can penetrate your system, he should have a tool or a skill that can be able to match against that vulnerability. What do I mean? If we found out that your ceiling, someone can enter through your ceiling to steal you, the next question is, Oga, do you now have what it takes to break ceiling? Do you understand? Hello?
Yes, sir.
If it is the door, someone says, okay, I'm going to break your door, and your door is iron door. Okay. Now the question is, do you have the tool and the technique to use and break an iron door? So that's what it means by an attacker must have at least one applicable tool or technique that can connect to the system weakness. In this frame, vulnerabilities are also known as attack surface. Okay. Now read up types of vulnerability.
Let's come up web application vulnerabilities.
Yes.
One, SQL injection. Two, cross-site scripting. XSS.
Yes.
Broken authentication and session management.
Mhm.
cross-site request forgery, insecure direct objects
Yeah.
referencing, security misconfiguration,
Okay.
insecure cryptographic storage,
Mhm.
XML external entity, XXE processing.
Yes, these are like the 8 common web application vulnerabilities. And trust me, with the new updated CV, common vulnerability exposure document that came in, I think this 8 has been scrambled. The ones that are like now, this one now, for this document I have now, SQL injection is number 1. But I think in the new one, SQL injection is either number 2 or number 3. Another one has topped it. So, but in all, these are like the 8 common web application vulnerabilities. But in this our what's it called, bootcamp and capstone project, we are going to be doing SQL injection. So the exercise is SQL injection, which is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to do what?
Interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database.
What do you think this means?
So,
What do you think this sentence means? Can you explain
all
this?
right,
Read
in
it
this
again.
case,
Yeah.
so it's a SQL injection that is a web security vulnerabilities that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to a database.
Explain if you
Sorry,
understand it very well.
your this thing goes off.
Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'll put it back on. So go ahead.
So this is like a design malware that interfere with
Do you know what a malware is? What is the short? What is the full form or the full name of malware?
malware is this thing that is an application and they're used to penetrate into designed to penetrate into
Okay, let me help you out. Now, the name malware. Are you seeing? Can you see my board?
yeah, I can see it. Yes.
Is a combination of two words: malicious software. That's where the word came out from. I just wanted to point it out for you. So
Okay.
malware means, or is a full, is a short form of malicious software. You get that?
Yeah.
So now, with our definition, it says SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. Let's take, for instance, that this is a bank, okay? Or let's say this is an ATM stand. where we have people can come and put in their name, okay, and they will expect to cash out. So you will need to put in your username and your password. Username and your password. Now, this system is connected to internet, right?
Mhm.
And in the internet is connected to a database. It has a database where it stores names and details of its users. True of us?
True.
Okay, good. Now, everybody who signs in or registers takes up a particular cell or a particular row. If someone whose name is not in this data sheet comes in to log in, will the person get access?
No.
Good. Now, when there is or when there are flaws in this database or in this system, when there are vulnerabilities in this database, it enables the bad person, the threat actor, who does not have an account here, to break into this system and access this database. How does it do it? When you put in your username and your password, it goes in as normal letters. But inside those normal letters, before it gets into the database has a way of getting these informations. So the database has a language. For example, if you want to get something from the database, there are languages you will use. If you want to post something into a database, there are languages you will use. Now, when the system has vulnerabilities, it enables the bad guy to manipulate these languages in order to penetrate into the database. Do you understand, or should I explain again?
Let's go again.
Good. We started by saying, let's assume that this is a bank, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this bank, people come and they sign in and they register and they deposit money, okay? Are you with me?
Yeah.
At a time, the bank has so many customers, and all the names and etc, the details, their bank number, account number, balance, everything is inside this balance sheet or this database.
Database.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Everything the people are registering is entering into this database. Now, for you to get information from this database, the owners of the bank makes it easy for you and tell you just put your username and your password, then it will go into the database and check whether your name and your password is registered there. If it is registered there, you will have a successful login. True or false?
True.
Now, this database has language on which it works in. The bank makes life easy for you to just tell you to give you an interface where you will just put your username and your password, then you can access the database. But from the back end, there are languages used to access the contents of a database. And I said, for example, if you want to get something in the database from the back end, you can use a get. When you want to post something, you can use a post. These are some unique languages that can be used to access the content of this database. Now, if this database has vulnerabilities, if this system, if this bank has vulnerabilities, it will enable the bad person to go in from this place, from this username and password, go in from here and manipulate these words or these commands used to access the database. Once they manipulate it, they can now access the database. And once the bad person accesses the database, what happens?
It will disrupt the system.
Yes, he can now carry out anything he wants to do. Now, that is the explanation of this sentence. Now, read it again so that you can understand it now.
SQL injection is a web security vulnerabilities that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. So in this case now, these queries now, yeah.
Go ahead.
So these queries now represent the so what does these queries represent now in this scenario?
The queries are, from the example we sent, the queries are these commands that are used to talk to the database.
To get to the database.
Yes, in other words, the sentence is saying that if there are web vulnerabilities, web security vulnerabilities in this system, it will help the attacker to interfere with these commands that are used to interact with the database. Understood?
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to use one of the vulnerabilities available in an application and interfere with the queries, with the commands that application uses to talk to its database. Then we enter into the database and manipulate and get anything we are looking for inside that database. And that is what the attackers do or does. That is what the thief does. That is also what the penetration testers does when they see these kind of things and see, okay, Mr. Sir, Mr. Man, or company XYZ, we found that so and so web vulnerability in your application, and this is the result. Look at how we got the results we got, and this is how you can avoid such an attack. Do you understand? Is it making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is exactly what we are going to do, and we are going to start it depending on how much we could cover before we call it a day. So the SQL injection demonstration, specifically we are using error based, meaning we will poke nose or we poke the database to see whether it can talk back to us. Normally, the only talking back a system should talk to you is if you have, as if you're registered in that, if you have details in that database or in that application, it should tell you access granted or not. But if you are not registered and you want to access the informations of the database or the content, and this database is telling you an information or giving you a sign that, okay, you are not part of us, but Let me tell you something. Just like when you tell somebody that you are not around and someone comes to knock and you tell somebody, go and tell the person that I'm not around. The person goes and say, that uncle say you are not, he's not around. Is that supposed to be so?
No, no.
He
Because you
don't
are the
cast
one,
you.
just like you put yourself to
Exactly.
lift the.
Exactly. So just like that. So when we tease, we are going to tease the database so that the database will use some of the vulnerabilities and tell us whether it can actually talk to us or not, whether it's around or not. So that is exactly what we're going to do. Okay. So step one is to set up our environment, which is we already have our Kali machine. And also we are going to, the burpsuite is also a tool used in this process. It's a software used in this process, and it is embedded inside your Kali machine. The burpsuite is embedded inside the Kali machine. Also, we will use the Foxy proxy. Recent times, for the newer classes, we've been using the Foxy proxy that is embedded inside the burpsuite. So there will be no need of setting Foxy proxy outside the burpsuite. So basically, we are only needing the Kali machine and the burpsuite to access the juice shop. The juice shop is just like Jumia. It's just like any regular shop. But this particular one is potentially kept vulnerable, meaning it was built with many vulnerabilities so that learners like you and me could be able to use it to learn about web vulnerabilities. Do you understand?
Okay. Yeah.
So that you will not
Okay,
go
just like a
ahead.
normal shop.
Yes, just like a normal shop where you go
Because
and do
I'm even
online
trying
shopping.
to understand, figure out whether it's a
Yes.
software. I mean, whether it's a software. Okay.
Don't worry, when I open it now, you see it's just a normal juice shop. They sell juice there. It's just a juice shop. So just like we have Jumia where you go and pick up and do your online shoppings. So why
Okay.
we have it is so that you will not go and start running tests on people's
Website.
applications to avoid answering query in police station. Yes. So now on our setup, we are going to update and install our juice shop. Then we'll run npm start to build it. Once we built it, we have to access the environment at http://localhost.3000, not 8080. Then we also turn on the intercept. What is happening? Okay, I clicked on the link. I think it's live. I didn't know that link is live. Okay, so once we gain access, then we can now move in and do some of the things we want to do. So first of all, we are going to gain access first. We are going to look for a way to bypass the username and password. Once we bypass the username and password, then we'll now start looking at how to manipulate the contents of the database. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So just watch, be observant, and you might ask questions when necessary. I'm just going to go straight to do the do so that we won't waste much time. But whenever you have questions, I will also be explaining what I'm doing. Whenever you have questions, you can call my attention and ask.
Okay.
Don't worry, we will soon be over, sir. You can rest. I know you're very tired. You've been at work since morning. Okay, so yes, I'm going to use my root terminal emulator, just like you already know. Mhm. Of course, you know it will go and ask for password. I'm gonna put in my password. Okay, it's gonna come up now. Now this is it by the left hand side. This is the file. In case I want new one, I can go to new actions, clear active terminal. That's CLEAR. You can also select it from actions.
Okay. That clear,
Edit,
abi?
yes, that clear. Edit, view. So on your time, take time to go through your platform so that you get used to some of it. It will not be confusing you anymore. So when you go to the menu, this is where you get the menu from the blue icon of the Kali Linux. When you go to the blue icon of the Kali Linux, that's the menu. You will go to all applications. You scroll until you find burpsuite. Burpsuite is spelled B-U-R-P, I think so, S, S what? What's the spelling again? Let's find it so we will not make mistake on the spelling. Aha, here is it. burpsuite, burpsuite. So once you click it once, it starts loading up. While it is loading up, let me spin up or let me start the juice shop. First of all, before I start the juice shop, I'm going to change directory CD into where my juice shop was
Sorry, this
downloaded
CD.
into.
Let me understand what you said. If you want to use that CD,
Yeah, CD
so
is
putting this CD command.
uh is like saying, please go to the folder of this. I am telling it to take me inside this folder. So the next things I'm going to be writing now is the address of the folder I want it to take me into, which you can see here. The folder of my juice shop is in inside home, inside Brian, inside downloads, inside downloads. That is where I put my juice shop. Normally when you download your juice shop, it will just come inside your downloads. Then you now created Rob juice shop. Will you remember? You created Rob juice shop, right?
Yes.
That is the one I use as my own as download 3. I just named it download 3. Then inside that Rob juice shop, that's where you now have the actual folder where the juice shop is. If you can remember what we did in the afternoon, that's exactly what we have here. So I will click enter. It will update my address. Now you see it has updated my address to this address, right? Okay, so I have two Node.js. Remember when you did yours, it was giving you a challenge telling you that the version of this is not, this is the current version, but this is the version needed. You remember that kind of error? Mine, I have two versions, so I'm going to choose the wrong one first, and it will tell me, it give me an error, so that you will see the kind of error I get. So I'm going to do npm start, enter. Meanwhile, the juice shop is by the left and is already getting ready. So but let's set the juice shop already. Sorry, I was saying the burpsuite is by the left, is already getting ready. So let's get the juice shop building first. Okay.
So this npm command, if you want to use it, what is it for? Because person need to be familiar with all these commands.
npm command is a command used in building the juice shop. Now this juice shop is not online, like it is not a website that is online. it's a website that will be built instantly in this your command line. Once it is built, it will now be available in your network. This online store that we want to attack is not somewhere like www. You go and find it, but
Okay.
what we are doing is building it with these commands, just like designing a website. But all the whole designing have been compiled into these few commands that we are running. Does it make small sense now?
Yeah.
So now watch the reply I got. What did he say?
Just take my highlight. Okay. I'm back.
Look at the result I got. Node.js version 18.20.5. Notice new major version of npm available 10.8.2, which should go into 11.1.0. Notice change log http notice npm notice to update. Run this to update. Okay, this is a new error message, so let's update. Npm install g npm at 11.1.0. enter. Okay, it's loading up. Okay, now see the error we got. npm error code bad engine. Remember?
Yeah, I noticed that. So the one that happened.
Exactly. npm error engine, unsupported engine. npm error engine not compatible with your version of node stroke npm kiniko. Not compatible with the version. Required node is version what? 20 or 22.
Okay.
Say it said required is node 20.17.0, but what is currently here, which is actual one, is version 10.18 and node version 18.20. But I already have the required one downloaded or installed. So I'm going to do use I think nvm use 21. Now using node version 21. Now let me run my npm start again. Let's see if it's going to go ahead to build the juice shop. So why I followed this step is to let you know that the errors you got are not strange. Everybody gets errors, but you have to follow it through step by step, get familiarized with your system and fix it. Okay, all you need is assistance, and your first assistance is ChatGPT. Then secondly, if you do not understand what ChatGPT is saying, then you get a mentor or someone. Of course, you're in the group, so you're in the program, you don't have much to worry about. You can always ask us in the group or send me a message and I'll help you. So now that I did the npm start, it said okay, juice shop 17.0 start kiniko. It's got it built. Now it has finished building it. The result it gave is server listening on port 3000. Remember what we talked about ports on the last class? So This juice shop now has taken up port 3000. So when we go to my browser and check on port 3000, we are going to see this online shop there. Before we built this website now, it was not there, but so far as you've already built it and you get okay, then it now tells you the server is listening on port 3000. You are free to go and access the website, which we are going to do now. I'm going to click on my Mozilla Firefox. While Mozilla Firefox is opening, remember that the burpsuite has been loaded. You're going to be greeted with this kind of welcome screen. Let me minimize the Mozilla Firefox because I don't even intend to use it today. I want to use, remember what I told you, that we are going to be using the Foxy proxy that is inside the burpsuite. Remember when I said that? So we are going to be using the Foxy proxy that is inside the burpsuite. We are not going to be setting up the Foxy proxy outside. So click on next, then start the burpsuite. You leave all the configurations as default, then you start the burpsuite.
So this burpsuite, what is the work of that burpsuite?
Okay, fantastic question. Why don't we ask the internet? What is burpsuite? Oh, I think I made a mistake on my spelling. Let's see whether they can correct it. Okay, now kindly read. Are you there?
Yeah.
Please read.
So burpsuite is a software suite that helps identify vulnerabilities in web applications.
Stop there.
It is used
That is the
by
basic.
security.
Stop there. First, that is the basic job. It helps to identify vulnerabilities in web application. Also, it is used by cybersecurity professionals for web application security audits and what?
Penetration testing.
Good. Now, look at how it works. burpsuite sits between a user's browser and the web application being audited. For example, remember this our bank, right? Are you there?
Yeah.
When you send your username and password, burpsuite disconnects the internet or hangs it and takes that your request and modifies it. Are you with me? After modifying it, it will now send it to the internet. So what goes through is the modified result or request, and not that first one you sent. That is one of the things that burpsuite does. It freezes or intercepts the network, keeps it in a steady time, analyzes the content, changes it, manipulates it the way it wants before sending it to the internet. So you'll be thinking that, oh, this website is taking time to load. Have you witnessed sometimes when you want to load the website and it is rolling and rolling and rolling? You'll be thinking that the website is taking time to load, right?
On a network.
Yes, or the network is slow. Most times, actually, a network hijacker is behind the scene, modifying or checking your address, checking whether you are qualified to see the content you want to view. Most, in fact, it's been done almost every time, but it is being done very fast that users don't get to notice. But in this time around, we are going to take our time and intercept the result or the request that is coming into this application, intercept it and manipulate it well. After manipulating it, then we can now send it into the internet so that it can go into the database. Then we can now retrieve the information we are looking for. So it says that burpsuite sits between a user's browser and the web application that is being tested or audited. Now, look at another thing it does. It does what? Can you read?
It records all traffic between the browser and the application.
Good.
It records
Also,
all traffic.
yeah, between the browser and the application, it keeps track. Anything you you type in or do in that browser, the burpsuite intercepts it and records it for quality checks.
Okay.
It also passively detects vulnerabilities, then also allows users to do what? See this word? Modify HTTP requests to detect anomalies and security problems. So, on your free time, you might come back to this Google and read up again about burpsuite and why we are using it in our tests. So yes, we are using the burpsuite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the menu of the burpsuite. Follow me. I'll go down to settings. The settings will come up. I'll now come down to Bob's browser. There's a section called Bob's browser. Once I click it, I'll come down to browser running and check this box that says allow Bob's browser to run without a sandbox. I'll check it on. Then I can close that setting. Now, this Bob browser has a lot of interface. Let me enlarge it. It has a lot of interface that within your work as a cybersecurity personnel, you will meet most of them. You will use most of them. For example, we are currently on the dashboard. The next one after the dashboard is the target interface. The next one is proxy. The next one is intruder. The next one is repeater. Most of them does exactly what their name says. The next one is collaborator. The next one is sequencer. The next one is decoder. The next one is comparer. The next one is logger. We have organizer, extension, and also learn. Okay, so for today, our concern will be on the proxy. We'll click on the proxy. Once we click this intercept on, it will intercept our internet. It means that your internet will partially hang. It will not go through. So just in case you are toying around with it and you turn it on and you notice that your network is not loading, your network is not going, ensure that you've come back to this place and switch it off so that your network can go. But for what we are doing, we need it to hang. We need it to intercept the network so that we can be able to do this thing that is here. We can be able to manipulate the content of the request coming from the browser. So this button here says open browser. The burpsuite has its own browser which we are going to be using. So when I click the open browser one, I'll just click it once. It's going to open its browser. It looks like the normal browser that we all use. So it's coming. It's going to open it. Now once you open it, we will now locate port 3000 inside it. Remember that our juice shop, it says that it has finished building and it is expecting us, or is listening at port 3000. So we are going to locate port 3000 in the browser. So this is the burpsuite browser. Come to the new tab, open a new tab, then type in your, look at the line. Is anybody coming in or joining the class? Oh, sorry. Rob, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought someone was joining the class. So, look at the address and it corresponds to port 3000. So we have http://localhost.3000. Once we load this address, the website, the juice shop website address that we built will automatically populate, and we are going to enter it by entering enter.
So, but is it the address that come up by itself, or you are the one that input it?
Yes, I typed it. I've typed it several times that when I want to start typing it, it will just come up.
Okay.
But you have to type it on your own so that your browser will be able to master it. So you can see it's just an online shop where you can see and buy products. Let me log out. I've been logged in. I need to log out. Oh, how do I log out? Let me do it full screen. Account, log out. So now that's the application. So it has so many fruits here, fruit juice inside here. So our next step will be to find a way and bypass the login. Once we can bypass the login, remember our diagram here. When we send in a username and password, of course, we are not registered. So we are trying to test if the system can be manipulated. So we are going to put in a fake username and password and send it. Before it gets to the database, we will intercept it, of course, with our burpsuite, manipulate it, and add some codes on that result, on that request, then send it to the database so that we will have a positive entry. So most times the entry points, when you look at an application, there are so many entry points to each database. One of the most common entry points to database in a system is any search button, one, or any button that helps you to or assist the users to key in their username or their password or etc. So we are going to use the search button here. You see, anything I search here will go to the database and go and search it for us. For example, if I type banana, let's say I want to search for banana juice, and I type banana and enter, the system will search. This banana I sent went into the database and returned to me a banana juice. Are you understanding how this thing is working? When you
Yes.
when you go online and search for a product, once you key in that product, that thing you key in will be sent to the database to go and check whether it is available.
Check what you, yeah,
And it will
and bring all the options.
exactly. So now I searched for banana and it brought this option for me. Good. So let's go back to the home page. On the account, you see login. So we are going to try to log in with a fake username and password, then intercept it, manipulate it, then push it into the database and see what happens. Login. So now we have our login details. We can put in our email and password, then press login. Okay, before we start this operation, let us key in our intercept. Remember, most of the jobs of the burpsuite is to trap or intercept the system and to record everything that is happening. So in this intercept, once we turn the intercept on, it will start recording everything we are doing on this particular juice shop and actually on the entire browser that we have. So I'm going to turn on the intercept now. Intercept on. Are you seeing it on, right? Already it has started intercepting. So I'll come down to,
Where did you get to? How did you get to that intercept?
the intercept is on the dashboard. From the dashboard, you will see all the interfaces, but we are focusing on proxy.
Yeah.
Look at the dashboard that we came in. Then we have the target, we have the proxy. Inside the proxy, that's where you now click the intercept on. It is also where you click the open browser. That's where we opened the burpsuite browser that we are using now. So we are going to we are going to give it a fake username and password, then intercept it with the browser. Of course, the browser is already, the burpsuite is already intercepting. Now, whether you know it or not, your internet is frozen. Any request you send into this username and password will be automatically trapped on the burpsuite, waiting for us to manipulate it or whatever before we can send it to the real database that is going to. So on the email, we are going to use Robinson, or let's use Rob username. Then on the password, we just use Rob. Then when we click this login, I clicked the login once. Then I will come back to this intercept, which is already open. I'll click on the forward. What you are going to be looking at for is the details or the logins, or the log that contains this your username and your password that we keyed in, because that is what we want to manipulate. It is not on this one because I can't see it. You click on forward again. Forward one. You have to take it one step at a time to check it very well before you click forward again. I'll click the forward the third time. I'll click again. You keep on forwarding it until you get the one that has the details you're looking for. If at the end of all your forwarding you did not,
as you are clicking the forward, it's changing.
yes, now It's changing. It's changing. When you send a message on the email on your browser and press enter, a lot of things happen before you get results. All you can see is that the page is loading, but you don't know what is happening behind it. Now, here you can actually see what is happening behind every page that is loading. That is one of the jobs of the burpsuite. So I'm forwarding, meaning I'm loading it one after the other. And can you see what I'm seeing here? What can you see?
Well, this seeing the first one that you click. When you click the first forward, so it says get socket. Okay, the second one just changed now. But that's why I asked before. It wasn't changing before.
Okay. I guess your network is a bit slower. But can you see where I am currently?
Yes, now I saw the raw user and password. Like email raw user.
Exactly.
Username, password.
This is where we are going to do the aporoka. We are going to manipulate these requests, this fake username and password. We'll manipulate it. Once we manipulate it to what we want, we now forward it, meaning we are now sending it to the internet. Once we send it, it will automatically log us in as a verified user in this particular juice shop.
Even if you are not the initial user.
That is why we are doing the testing. That is why we are cybersecurity personnel. You look out for vulnerabilities and assess it. So, to manipulate these details, there is a code or a payload, or call it virus, whatever it is, that we are going to use to manipulate this username and password. And we are going to be putting it inside the email section. So you are going to be very careful with every single character that is here. Anyone that you remove that is not supposed to be removed will cause an error. So you have to be very careful. So I'm going to cancel the raw username that we have there, then put in the payload, which is now payloads can be found online. Actually, there are several payloads online, but we're going to use one of the simplest one, hyphen, not upper apostrophe. I'll write it down for you. Upper apostrophe space OR as in or, with space 1 equals to 1, then semicolon. So let me copy out what I just wrote now so you can see it. Copy.
There's network issue there because I'm not following.
Don't worry, remember we are recording, so even after the record,
The thing is not following.
yeah, even after the record you can still you'll get, yes. So what I typed in was let me write it down for you here so it could be easy for you to see. I typed in, why is it on white? I need it to be black. Okay, let me reduce it a bit. 50. Okay, hope you can see.
Yes, I just
So This is hyphen space or 1 equal to 1 then semicolon. That is what I used. That's the payload that I keyed in. That's the payload that we're using to manipulate the username and password field.
Username. Okay.
Yes, and we are putting it on the username field. Canberra Century. Okay. So that is exactly what I put here. I removed that your Rob username and replaced it with that code.
But you can choose to use any one that we want to use, right?
Payloads or codes like this are specifically meant for this particular purpose.
Okay.
So if you want,
you can choose any name that you want to.
no, there are places where you could get a list of payloads. Okay, there are structures on how they are being written. So what I did was to take one of them which I've tested over time and it worked. So it's one of the easiest one to remember, even off head. So now we have this now. If I click on this forward, this website that is hanging since, once I put this forward, it will send this email that I've modified and password that I've modified into the database. It will take it into the database now. It will now allow it to pass through the internet. All this while, it has not gotten to the internet.
Okay, just hold it here.
Yes. All this while, it has not gotten to the internet.
Oh.
That is what I meant. So now when I press that forward after I've modified it.
Sorry. The reason why you're holding it is just to enable you to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Once I click that forward, it will now be able to go to the internet, then enter into the database. So I'll press the forward now. Bam. Are you seeing anything? It has automatically reloaded.
Yes.
As though you put in the right password.
But I'm still seeing the wrong username.
This is the website being fooled. The website thinks that it is the Rob username that we use to log in.
Okay.
And it's telling you save password. You and I knows that it is not Rob username that is the correct one.
You have changed it.
So it is what it is. So now when you open this thing and go to account, you will find out that you have already been logged in. You see, it is telling you to log out if you want to log out. It cannot be telling you to log out if you're not already logged in. You already have, you can see orders that have been made and payments, other histories, privacy, and in fact, you're already inside. Now you can even change your password, do two-factor authentication, request for data export, etc.
You can change a lot of things that you wish to.
Yes, and guess what? That is not even the end. What we just did now was just to log in. In our next class, we will do more than just logging in. We will infiltrate this entire database and look at every. That's exactly what is happening. So
still in control of your information, everything.
exactly. So in our next class, we are now going to enter into this database, then look at every cell, every content. We are going to look at every user that has registered inside this application and look at their name, their username, their credit card, anything they have, go to Google. We're going to do all those things on our next class. You see, he said, well, you need to, all these things are for educational purposes, remember.
I understand.
So, and that is why we are using the open source tools for training and learning. Now, the most important thing about this thing is now you know and have this knowledge, you can now protect better, because a thief cannot thief a thief. Now you will now know the places to tell an organization to put more emphasis on. You will now be in the right position on how to advise them to secure their systems properly. And that is the end product of being a cybersecurity personnel. Exactly. So by next week, we are going to continue from here. I expect before next week that you've already set up your juice shop and attempt to get to this level within the week. And the sky will be... Yes, before tomorrow night, everything will be online. Then you can have the link.
So what I will do is to see if you'll be chance tomorrow, so we can pick it. I will go along with my charger this time around.
No problem. Just pick a time when I'm free. Then I will always be available to help you. You don't have any problem.
That 5 are supposed to be running up.
It's all right. No problem. Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
This suit. Sorry, I want to ask last question.
Okay.
This bomb suit now.
Yes.
Can work in real, apart from the fact that we are using it on this.
Yeah, it's a security tool. It's a security tool. It works in real life. What's it called? Scenarios. It's a security tool. Yes. Just like what's it called? Virus Total that we can use to checkmate the goodness or badness of an IP address, a file, or a link. Someone sends you a link that you are not too sure. Go to virustotal.com and check it out. Once you put the link inside there, Virus Total will tell you whether the link is malicious or not. Someone sends you a document that you don't know, you don't think that it is legit. Bring it here and upload it. It will scrutinize it and tell you whether this document has virus or not, etc. So these things work in real life. Okay?
Yes.
So guys, have a good night and see you around soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.